Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nolan.
And welcome to Making It Work. Arthur, I'm so excited. We're here to talk about marriage. You know, when you think about marriage, what comes to mind?
Work, Kim.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
I've heard you say before that divorce is easy, but marriage takes work. What are some of the things that has to be done to make it work?
Developing a method of communication is important to me.
Always,
Yes,
always.
yeah.
And also we're dealing with different types of personalities.
Absolutely.
And do you think that family origin plays into that?
It's definitely an issue.
Okay, so today we want to welcome Jeff and Pam, and we want to look at marriage, even, or stressors, even in a loving marriage, because it takes love to make it work.
Jeff and Pam Logan, it's so great to have you on our show. You know, actually, we've been really anticipating that you had some wonderful things to enlighten us, because you left Detroit for a while and went to Chicago, and you know, I don't know of any other places that you may have ventured off to, but we missed you and now you're back, you know. So give us some insight on what really brought you back to this area.
Well, the automotive industry, of which, you know, I'm a part, is a kind of a cyclical business. And from time to time, in automotive, there'll be a downturn. And a manufacturer will lay off. I'm a publications type. And publications people can be out of work, you know, from time to time. You don't do Chicago without a job.
Really?
You come back home. Yes, you do.
So it was kind of difficult as far as finding employment there.
Well, I have 4 grandchildren also. And it was an opportunity in that sense to get back home and spend some time with the grandchildren. So we did really 2 things. You know, we came home to be with our family and our friends, but we came home, you know, to spend some time with those 4 little people.
Well, that's excellent.
Yes.
So Pam, how did that affect you as far as making a transition away and then making a transition back?
Well, this is actually the second time. We went to Akron for 5 years, and then we came back to Detroit. Then we went to Chicago for 3 years, and now we're back. So, you know, I go wherever he goes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Excellent.
One year he had an apartment in Fort Wayne for a year, and I'd just see him on the weekends. And in Akron, I'd only see him in the weekends for 5 years. So
For 5 years,
yeah,
you
5
did.
years.
That
I
must
was
have
a
been-
traveler.
Okay.
So I would leave the house on Monday morning and be gone all week staying in hotels, and then make my way back home Friday afternoon. And that's just how the job worked. I had like 30 dealerships that I would stop, and I was a factory rep for these dealers. So I got home as often as I could.
So we had a great time on the weekends. I'd have his favorite foods cooked. I'd have his clothes all washed and put it in the drawers, iron hanging in the closet, and the best foods that he wanted. We had a good time on the weekend, but it was, you know, sometimes it was starting to get old.
Okay.
You know.
Did it take a toll on you eventually? You know, with him being gone, that was 5 years. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, and me just with the children. Yeah, that was a long time. And during that time, as a matter of fact, when we moved there, we both had problems with health. I was diagnosed with lupus shortly after we moved to Akron, and that was difficult because I had, you know, issues with fatigue, and I didn't have him there to help out. You know, I was really on my own during the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girls were kind of little then.
And yeah, the girls, the youngest one was 5.
Okay.
And then Shannon would have been 9.
What is lupus?
It's an autoimmune disease that affects mostly women during childbearing years. And it's where your body doesn't recognize self, and it attacks different organs. It was like 30 years before it went into remission.
Really?
And now I was in remission and I'm out of it again, so it goes back and forth.
Back and forth. And
But Jeff is very, very supportive. A lot of lupus patients end up getting divorces because to have a wife ill all those years, it's hard. But Jeff was always supportive, sometimes too much.
What do you mean?
He would get in the bed with me rather than help me do, rather than doing laundry.
Oh, okay.
I would want him to go do something, but he wanted to lie right next to me, so he did.
What were your concerns or your fears, Jeff?
You know, I've never really talked about my fears. Lupus is the type of thing that has no cure. And the way the symptoms play out is your body devours itself. And then you die. And so there are moments that you have together when you really just want to hear what's on her mind. You know, here's a woman who suffers literally all the time. And sometimes she's in pain and she's not saying anything. Sometimes she just feels fatigued and she can't move or get up or do anything, and it has the effect of like depression on her, and I want to respond. I want to hear how she's feeling. I want to do what she needs. But you don't know if you're not there when she says it. So I don't know. I follow her pretty closely sometimes when we're around the house, just to see what she's up to, what she's thinking.
Let me ask you this question, and excuse me for interrupting, but it was just burning in my mind. You know, are you angry, about what transpired?
No. Life is not fair. And I know I had some health issues of my own, and I don't know where they came from. I've never smoked or, drank or anything like that, and I lost a lung.
We were in Akron.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
He almost died in Akron.
So I don't know where that came from either. It's like either you trust Jesus or you don't, and if you do, what are you going to be mad about?
So did that make your faith stronger?
I think it did. I think it did.
Particularly
because of the way I came out of that. I had struggled for 3 years and had 2 surgeries where they split you around the middle, and they operate on my lung. But the second time, it wasn't successful either. I still had this low-grade fever that just followed me around. It was terrible. And couldn't get rid of it, couldn't shake it. And I was underweight, and I remember just sitting in the bed, and I prayed a simple prayer because I was done with surgery. I wasn't going to let them cut me anymore. And
he had pneumonia for the 3rd time.
I coughed, and this calcified lymph node popped up out of my lung onto a napkin, and that was it. That was it.
But before that,
everything behind that was infection and stuff, and all of that came out, and I've been good ever since. That was it.
But his prayer was this: Lord, what can you do for me? And he coughed shortly after saying that, and the obstruction came up.
It sure did.
And that was it. He hasn't had a problem with that
so
since.
When the doctors went in, they couldn't get that obstruction out of you?
Well, they didn't know where it was. It was at the lower part of his lung in the back.
Yeah.
And they kept scoping him, and they could never see it.
What?
Yeah. They x-rayed it, they scoped it. They did everything except MRI, because I don't know why they did an MRI, but there it was, biggest day, and I saved it for them in a little pill bottle and gave it to him when he came in. I said, I'm I'm good. I'm all right now. And he said, what do you mean? And I showed him my little trophy there, and he looked at that and he said, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. But it literally came right up out of my mouth. I was
right
coughing,
after he said the prayer.
The whole abscess just collapsed, and I was good within hours after that. The fever went away. I was good to go.
No problem since.
I got out the next day, didn't I? I think I got out the next day.
I think you did.
Yeah. Yeah, they let me out.
But I was actually thinking that I was going to have a funeral in Akron and ship his body here
You were already
and have
planning.
another funeral. Yes.
Okay.
Because he said, I'm not going to let them operate again. And he had pneumonia for the 3rd time.
Okay.
He was not responding to the antibiotics, so.
And instead of a funeral, we had a celebration
Oh, yes.
of life.
Oh, yes.
You know, how do you explain or express your love for each other? How would you, you know, tell someone about your love for each other?
Oh, look at
Well,
her.
the way I show him that I love him, like I tell my grandchildren, it's what I do for you. So I spoil him, I really do. And he calls his drawers magic drawers because they're always full. So I planned from the very beginning to spoil him, and I did.
You know,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Go ahead. No, I tried that once. You know, where he came home, I was expecting a baby, right? Our last baby, Aaron, and he said he had a vision. And I was lying in the bed, and I said, I need to do something. I'm 8 months pregnant. I said, oh, I'm gonna pull everything out of his closet. I'm gonna do the drawers, make them look like Saks Fifth Avenue. He said when he walked up the steps, he said, I knew you were in my closet. And I pulled, and I'm 8 months pregnant, doing all these things.
Ask me, did I get spoiled by that? Because I mean, that was a one-time event, and nothing else happened after that. No spoiling.
He got a baby, all right. You know, so let me ask you this. You know, in spoiling him, you know, do you in turn spoil your wife? Is it reciprocated to her?
I feel very happy.
I was about to say, I don't know quite what that looks like. I watch her. I'm attentive. I try to see things that she needs. I try to get things for her that she likes. I maintain her car meticulously so that she never has trouble with it. We have old cars, so you know it's necessary to pay attention to them so that they stay reliable.
You put gas in her tank?
I do.
Sometimes.
I do.
I do that all the time.
When last time you put some gas in my tank?
Right before I went to Orlando.
You did. But prior to that, I think it was 20 years ago. You know.
They forget. They forget. They forget.
Who forgets?
But I remind him, you know, whatever I think he's not doing, I'll tell him.
Really?
That's
He
a
doesn't
good
think
thing.
of it as nagging? You don't look at it as nagging?
No, because you know what? She has so many different little things that she needs help with. If she goes out in the cold, her hands will.
I have Raynaud's.
Yeah, so
What-
I want
what are Raynaud's?
I want to pump the gas. I
Well, when
want
it
to
gets-
keep her warm.
When I get chilled, the arteries constrict and the blood won't flow.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I have fibromyalgia too, so I'm
Really?
exhausted and I have a lot of pain with that.
Yeah, so she's you know, those little ceramic plants that they have that are real fragile. You tip it over and it'll break. This is how I have to follow her around and make sure that she doesn't break.
Some days he wants to try to make me stop, but the days when I do have energy, I want to do everything.
Everything.
So there are days when it's just become very difficult.
Yeah, and
you
I
know.
either stay in the bed or I'll sit in a chair all day, not move.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. In 38 years, you've never had a disagreement?
We have never had a major falling out. And you know how they say when you get married, you have this time of adjustment. We didn't have that.
No, we didn't.
We like two peas in a pot from the very beginning.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Can I start following you around everywhere?
That would drive me crazy.
I'll go play golf with you.
No. Why do you ask that?
I can't play. I'll drive the little cart for you.
No,
Go with you.
No.
Can I go with you
You
tomorrow?
can drive me to the golf course.
You know, so no major in front of the children, because you know, you hear about couples arguing in front of their children, and you know how to resolve that. So never, you know.
When we go to the mall, you know how kids are so easily embarrassed.
Yes.
So we're having a disagreement in the mall. They were saying, you two? And then, you know, they want to both scatter. And we're just, you know, discussing a purchase or something like that.
Right.
But no, we haven't. We haven't had a hard time.
You know what I find interesting?
easy.
When we're in church, you know, and I'm proud to say that, you know, we're members together, but when Elder Logan is on the roster, I will see him look at you. Or when I turn around doing some part of the service, I will catch him looking at you. And it's just so beautiful and romantic, because even in the house of God, you can see the love. And this is why I wanted you on the program, because it's genuine. And that's all I've ever seen since the day I met you all.
But
you
I think it's even more than that. You know, I think, yes, there's love and sensitivity. But I also think that going through some difficult times together, the trials and the tribulations, you know, that creates a certain bond that a lot of people never achieve in their lives. You know, and you both have gone through some very difficult times.
Yeah, we did.
You know, so that draws you to even more close. Even the way you talk, you know, there's a sensitivity and a respect that I see for each other. Now, that's the key for a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships. Is if you have respect for each other, then all the rest of that stuff is like you're keyed into it.
You know, I prayed for a husband that would love Jesus more than me, and then me second. And that's what he gave me. He gave me a great guy. It is the easiest thing in the world to love this man.
Yes.
And you see, he's so kind, and he cares about everybody. He's giving. I mean, it's easy.
I tell Kim that all the time.
What you try to tell me?
I mean,
What you try to tell me?
Didn't you hear us describe me?
You know what? And Arthur he's very kind, he's very loving, very giving. You know, he brings Chinese food home because he can't really, he's not a gourmet chef. But I do know that we have learned some things just through observation. I think Arthur is right. A lot of couples don't know how to weather the storm. And they give up. And as you were saying, there are many divorces with couples suffering through lupus or any type. They will walk away from it. You know, Arthur would say divorce is easy. You know, marriage takes work. And this is a lot of work, you know. What do you love about each other? What do you really like? Are you friends?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, best friends. Yeah, definitely. But, you know, I didn't want to take it for granted.
Well,
I wanted to ask.
But they've been talking the whole show, and they said they were loving and kind. I mean, doesn't that make sense? Okay, I'll let you know.
You know what? You see what I'm saying? You know, when you work together, I follow him around. But what do you? One thing you like about each other?
I just like the kind of person that he is.
Pam can anticipate things that I need. Sometimes it's exasperating because she'll look past what I'm doing to what I mean to be doing, and she'll remind me about something that I didn't do, and I know that she reminds me because I've got a great memory, but I've got an even better forgetter. So she'll remind me of stuff that she knows I'm meant to do, and
sometimes I nag him because I'm trying to pull out of him what I'm trying to get at. He takes a long time to say something, and I want to get to the point.
You want to get to the point.
And sometimes, you know, I want to remind him of things, so I'm asking him all these questions to help him remember what he's supposed to be doing and stay on point. Sometimes it's nagging to him.
It's nagging him.
Yeah.
Well, listen, already we're out of time.
Oh.
And you all got to come back. Will you do that for us?
Okay. Definitely.
We got to do another segment. So we want to thank you for being on our program. Jeff and Pam Logan, Endless Love. God bless you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Man. Arthur, that was a wonderful interview.
Jeff and Pam were excellent.
And so transparent.
Yes.
And that's so important in our relationship today. Arthur, let's talk about some of the things they were dealing with, you know, transition in employment, her health issues with lupus,
Yes.
and just being helpful around the house because, you know, being able to get husbands to clean the house and getting them involved. I don't know about you, viewing audience, it's difficult to get Arthur to pick up a broom. I tell you, all right?
You had to go there, didn't you?
I just had to go there, all right? But how do we begin to help our couples in understanding the stressors, even in a loving marriage? What are some
I
solutions?
think one of the things that was really important is Jeff and Pam recognized that it was absolutely necessary that they develop their relationship with the Lord.
Oh, that's
You
crucial.
know, through prayer,
Yes.
they felt motivated that they would get through. And Jeff and Pam have always been at a point where they wanted people to recognize that their relationship with God is a foundation.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, so that's one thing that's essential.
And the Bible says, pray without ceasing.
Absolutely.
All right? So prayer is our first solution. We've got to include God in every step of the way.
Absolutely.
And I want to ask the question, do you start your day with prayer as a couple? Do you call each other throughout the day, even texting a prayer, and then coming home having family worship together and having prayer together? Because sometimes we get, you know, distracted, but we cannot forget about the Lord. Number two, what can we do?
I think you really have to recognize what the problem really is. You know,
Because you can't address the problem if you don't know what it is.
If you don't know what the problem is, then we're talking about spinning your wheels. So it's really important that you understand. If you have a lack of communication, if there's some issues that need to be discussed, but unfortunately there's anger that's preventing you from really getting to those issues, then once again you need to have some understanding of how to accomplish that goal.
You know, the Bible says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people would humble themselves and pray and seek my face. Now that's something that Jeff did. He humbled himself to help his wife even around the house with the chores. And we always say that 3 issues of marriage is communication, finance, and responsibilities within the household, all right? And he humbled himself to help her.
But Jeff, it was not difficult for him, you know. And why wasn't it difficult for him? It's because of his personality. Jeff was committed.
Yes.
And that's a third thing that needs to be brought out, commitment.
Commitment.
He needs to really recognize a person that's having some negative experience. They must understand that commitment is going to be very important.
Commitment.
And then you need to take action. Whatever is required for you to improve the situation.
Okay, so I can recognize what the problem is, but at the same time, if I don't move forward, because the Bible said faith is dead without works. So if I'm not moving forward, it's just doing nothing. I'm not making any progress. So now I take the necessary action steps.
You have to understand, I have to do something. And unfortunately, a lot of times, when people are going through some real difficult times in their relationship, then they fail to really exhibit some method of change. You know, I need to change my behavior. And they become stagnated in the relationship.
So they become the change agent.
Yes.
All right, making sure that I am responsible for this. I've got to hold myself accountable.
Most important.
So accountability can definitely be a solution.
You know,
holding
and
myself.
not just demonstrate silence, hoping that the issue will go away.
Right.
If I don't really address it, if I don't pay any attention with it, it's just going to dissipate. It's going to go away, but it's not.
And we're just walking past each other and not addressing the issues. And now we're no longer husband and wife, but we're strangers living together.
But see, Pam and Jeff, they continue to show that commitment towards each other.
Yeah.
They wanted to work on it. Don't forget about their children. You know, even now you can see how their commitment, their spirit, their relationship is even brought out in the way their children
And their grandchildren.
and their grandchildren present themselves.
No, definitely. I think that a crucial aspect or a part of their relationship, they love each other.
Yes.
The love is genuine.
And they understand what family really means. You know, what is the essence of family? How do we really, really demonstrate that? And that's what we are. We need to recognize that family, without family, there's nothing.
So support.
Absolutely.
You need to be a support to each other.
Yeah.
I think in marriage, and being married to you, Arthur, being able to show support, showing understanding, showing love, sensitivity. Why is sensitivity so important, or can be a crucial solution in marriage?
The way you say things, the way you use your nonverbal cues is really important, because even though if you don't speak, but if you demonstrate anger by rolling your eyes or turning away or not giving contact in a respectful manner, then that can be irritating.
You know, it's like I'm trying to talk to you and you're trying to read something, or you're reading the newspaper and you're not even giving me the eye contact that I need. Eye contact lets me know that you care, you're concerned, and you're in tuned. I think being in tuned with your spouse and in your marriage is crucial, and being able to relate to them and being able to understand how they're perceiving. So, you know, be mindful of your tone, take it down a notch, be mindful. Listening is crucial in a healthy, loving marriage. And I think that understanding how to listen, everyone doesn't know how to listen.
Listening, along with, once again, the ability to recognize where the problem exists, and making a commitment to change the problem, saying to yourself, I'm going to make a difference. I'm not going to be the same. And that means that you are taking that action. You want to do something different. You want to improve the situation, so you're not just going to let something continue to hover over your relationship and prevent you from having a good marriage.
Having a good marriage. Well, listen, I like that, and I just hope and pray that these solutions will help you. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nowlin.
And thank you for joining us on Making It Work. God bless.